Oh,
now we
yeah,
can.
it'd be a great show.
No, now you're
Sorry. I'm really suck with this phone. I'm like, I don't know. I'm a kid. I should know how to do this shit, right?
Everybody. Yeah, kids, yeah. There's one thing you should be good at.
Yeah, I'm bad at it.
This is going to be a great show, man. I'm
excited.
About this.
I was so excited this morning to wake up or sometime during the night, maybe it was early this morning, saw that they started following us. Their
That's
page,
so cool.
their former page is following us. I'm like, and then they posted. I tagged you in. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're really excited to talk to us, and I'm stoked.
That's great.
And but I think it's great. This is the most support we've had from somebody before the show.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
I need a life. That's what I need. A job.
Yeah, if you got some sweet fucking t-shirts, though.
Get a job, kid.
I do, man. I do.
Cut your
That's
hair.
My job is looking cool. I guess I do.
You hippie. Yeah.
Well, you do look cool, so you're
putting in some overtime, I see. Yeah.
Look like a
Yes.
I remember back in the day when I looked cool. Yeah. Mark was sweet when he had a sweet mullet for a while. He was looking all right.
Hey, that was cool. There was a time when that was cool.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
It's still fucking cool, man.
I see him coming back a little bit. I see.
Yeah, man. There's a kid on my street with one. There's a kid little kid, man. He's like 8. He's got a mullet. I'm like, fuck yes, you're awesome.
Oh, we've got a guy coming up here. Hold on, Rich.
We got a guy coming up here. There he is.
Right.
Justin.
Yeah.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we
Sure.
can. Hey, Justin, nice to see you, man.
Hello.
Thanks, man. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, welcome. We are
Thank
really
you.
excited to talk with you guys today.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Talk about horror movies and music.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just we're tweaking our notes and talking. Is Kristian will be on today, right? He's coming in too?
Yeah, Kristian will be coming in here very shortly. Yeah.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Got the Sorcerer stuff in the background. Iron Maiden shirts on.
Yeah.
Hope you don't mind. We're not trying to steal your copyright. We thought we'd just show it off.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I've got my Iron Maiden stuff in the back. I don't know if you can see it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huge Maiden fan.
As we all are. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's not really a band, is it? It's more a religion, if anything. So.
And there's the first soundbite right there.
Yeah.
Coming. That's how the show's opening, man.
Yeah,
there we go.
There he is.
Excellent.
I can hear you, buddy.
Cool.
I mean, how incredible is it? We can sit here. You're in Sweden, and we can just sit here and have a casual conversation.
Yeah, the future's
across
not
the Atlantic.
entirely garbage.
Yeah.
Skynet hasn't taken over yet. We can still have some fun.
We're still in that grace period before it's
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Oh, that's great. Kristian, welcome so we're grateful that you guys came on today. We're really looking forward to getting to know you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to do this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely.
Greetings! This is David DePay from Burgess Jail, and you are listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Stay tuned for more metal and horror. Yow!
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, I'm Chop Top, and this is going to be Swedish.
and Dreadbull.
I'm Vic. Wild card.
And you are listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kiddies, tonight we have a fantastic show. We are talking with Justin and Kristian from Sorcerer. Oh, great doom metal band from Sweden, and we are so honored to have you guys here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's an honor for us. It's going to be so much fun, I think.
Good, excellent.
Thank you.
We have been so excited about to talking with you, and we're all fans of your music, and I man, I just love these albums and just play them repeatedly. And I got a lot of questions to get into, but I guess just generally we'll start with, and both of you can answer or take turns, however you want to do it. But like, how did you first get into music?
I'll let Kristian go first.
All right, Kristian.
I'll go first because I'm the old one. Right. I think I just let me see, get into music. I mean, I started listening. I think my cousin had a couple of heavy metal on cassette. Like Iron Maiden's first album, I think, and some other stuff like Riot and maybe Accept. And I heard that stuff, and I was maybe 9 years old or something like that, maybe. And from there, I got into Kiss, and I hung out with friends who were at school who were into more metal, and got into it that way. That was my first encounter. And my dad played a couple of instruments, and he showed me a couple of chords on the guitar, and that's when that started.
Nice.
Kudos to you, because heavy metal kind of scared me when I was 9 years old, so it took me a little longer before I got over the fear.
Yeah, I mean, for me, music is it's always been kind of like popular in the Biggs family household. I mean, when I was a kid, I always tell the same story. My father used to work on ships as an engineer, and he was away most of the time. But we always had a tradition that when he was back, that the first Saturday that he was back, then he would let me go down and pick, 5 vinyls from his record collection. And that's how I started listening and discovering different bands. I went through everything from King Crimson to Black Sabbath to Genesis to the Ramones.
Nice.
It was just a mishmash of various artists. And I remember I used to play religiously when I was a kid, the Traveling Wilburys, the first Traveling Wilburys record. I loved it. I used to love listening to Roy Orbison's voice. I thought he was a really charismatic, just brilliant singer. And I mean, everybody pretty much in my family also plays an instrument. So, I mean, in growing up, my older brother played guitar, and my twin brother, he's kind of a drummer kind of dude. He hasn't had any drums or anything like that. He just banging around and doing stuff. And I ended up picking up the bass. So yeah, that's what happens when you live in a house full of music.
Right. Yeah.
You get all those tastes. I grew up listening to Roy Orbison too. My dad was a big fan, and I listened to all of his very eclectic kind of music styles. A lot of country and western and rockabilly, and then Roy Orbison and those bands too. So it's great to have those influences. That was gonna be kind of my next question was like, what were your early musical influences that kind of brought you and attracted you into the hard rock and metal scene?
I'd have to say that first and foremost, it would be Black Sabbath. Those first 8 records were integral in my youth. And just, the Ramones, I love the Ramones and punk rock as a whole, Misfits and stuff like that. So that was the kind of stuff that I was into. It was just more about the, I don't know, it wasn't like, I didn't really get into like the whole hair metal thing, and I didn't understand it. Like really, it was just for me too flash and just too egotistical. And I really liked the bands like Black Sabbath, Ramones, King Crimson. The music spoke for itself, and it was just this attitude, varying attitudes, of course. You had Black Sabbath, which was like this doomy, dark, and almost borderline occult, and then you had like the Ramones with just this kind of like, well, screw it, we're just going to go up and play 1, 2, 3, 4 and bang out 32 songs in an hour. That's just brilliant. So I mean that's the kind of stuff that I was listening to anyways.
Well, Marky Ramone still lives in Cleveland, so
that's cool.
I'd like to see him. I reached out to him. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure he's already got his own podcast, but I'd love to talk to him because I'm a huge Ramones fan as well.
He just seems like a cool dude.
Yeah. Kristian, how about you? What early bands influenced you or pushed you into this kind of hard rock and metal scene?
Yeah, like I said, it was definitely Kiss and Maiden. Those were the first two. I heard live, a live one by Kiss, and that was a huge one. My a friend of mine had it on like not a cassette, but the what do you call it?
The reel to reel?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's
wow.
it. Reel to reel. Yeah.
Damn.
Old school. Yeah, I'm not that old, but you know, I don't know why you had it on the reel. But you put that, you know, put that on, and the famous intro, you know, you wanted the best, you got the best, and it was like, and then the news came on, you know, it was from there, it was like, oh shit, pay attention to this, you know, and then like I said, Maiden, or the first Maiden album, and then when I got. I have to be when Ride the Lightning came out, Metallica. Was that not 84?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got that for Christmas, 84. I was 13 then. That one really got me. You know, I love the music, but also it seemed, I mean, difficult music maybe, but it seemed like, you know, this is something probably someone could learn to do, you know. And I didn't start playing back then at all. I started later, but Metallica was huge there for a while. And then of course I got into, you know, Queensryche and Yngwie Malmsteen and all those bands, you know, the Shredders and all that stuff. But for me, I mean, Kiss, Maiden, and Metallica would be my big three for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are those guitarists some of your bigger influences as far as guitar? Who do you who are your influences in that regard, specifically with guitar?
Yeah, I would say just starting me out was definitely Metallica, you know, James and Kirk. It was a specific, I've told this story before, it was a specific video, the one from For Whom the Bell Tolls. I think it was 85. They played the Monsters of Rock with the Scorpions and Van Halen and that stuff. And the video was from, it's on the Cliff of Moll video, you know, and they played For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I saw that one. It was the first moving pictures I've seen of Metallica, you know, just them headbanging, you know, in bright, you know, daylight, but still kicking ass.
Right.
That was me when I was like, okay, I got to try that. That looks like fun, you know.
Day on the Green.
Yeah, Day on the Green, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So that was my first, like, okay, I gotta try to play guitar, and then pretty quickly I got into, like I said, Yngwie Malmsteen and all those shrapnel guys, you know, Paul Gilbert, Greg Howe, Jason Becker, all those guys. And around that time, I got the first Dream Theater album, When Dream and Day Unite. That one also was a huge one. So, and then the next one, of course, Images and Words, which came out a bit later then. But that was what I started, you know, listening to Marty Friedman with Megadeth and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? That was my guitar influences back then. For sure. Of course, there's been many over the years from that, you know, but that was the start when I really started practicing, you know, hard and lots.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Justin, you're a bass player. I guess on the same note, what would you say your main influencers for bass guitar were?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to like lots of different stuff, but I would have to say again the staple is, you know, Geezer Butler, Cliff Burton, you know, Les Claypool even.
Oh, nice.
You know, just all these different sounds, and I just thought that the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like there was so many cool and obscure bands, you know, and bass was really kind of coming to the forefront. So it was really cool to hear all these, like, you know, like I said, Primus was just like, for me, what is going on here? Like, it was crazy. Can you make that noise with the bass guitar? You know, it was just, it was brilliant. So, yeah, I mean, but Geezer Butler, I would have to say, Chris Squire from Yes, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's just what I love. Steve Harris, of course, from Iron Maiden. So, yeah, it's just a myriad of just phenomenal bass players, really.
When you started playing, did you start wanting to imitate these styles? Like, did you pick up the bass and start doing the
Point at
kind of
people.
the guy thing, you know?
Bass gun.
It's so
Bass gun.
identifiable with him. And I've heard other musicians, you know, famous musicians, when they come to see Maiden, they said, I can't wait to see Harris raise that bass up and do that kind of gunning down, that machine gun thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did it, and Lemmy did it as well, you know.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that was something that you did. You imitated your heroes, and I think that I still kind of imitate Cliff Burton quite a bit in terms of like my stage clothes. You know, I have my bell-bottom jeans on all the time, and
Nice.
you know, that's
That's
just kind of what I like. You know, and it was just I don't know, Cliff was always cool, so I guess I kind of impersonated him quite a bit, and I take a lot of that with me on the stage as well. I like playing live. You know, I'm not a big, like, I love going into the studio with the guys, of course, but my main thing is live. And you know, Cliff Burton for me was just the epitome of the live bass player. He was just phenomenal on stage, like just this mat of hair, and it's just great.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of live and Cliff and any of these influences, have you ever met any of your musical heroes? You know, and who have you met, and what was that like?
Musical heroes.
Yeah.
Well,
like you've been on tour, you go out and play, you're bound to play with other groups, or have there been those times where you've had those fanboy moments, like, because we're all fans of someone, you know?
Yeah, I remember I met Twiggy Ramirez one time at a festival. Marilyn Manson was playing, and I was just like, holy shit, that's Twiggy Ramirez over there. So I went to go shake his hand, but he wasn't as nice as I was hoping for. You know, it was just like
you always run that risk.
Gave me the dead floppy fish handshake, and I was just like, no.
Oh man!
But you know, I've met some. You know, some pretty cool musicians over the years, and it's hard to pick anyone really. I mean, it's just been fun. Like when you're playing the festival circuit in Europe, you know, there's loads of musicians in the backstage area, and you're just seeing like, you know, I sat down at I think it was Bang Your Head. You know, I was eating supper, and I was sat next to Tony Dolan from Venom, and nice. I was like, "Hey, you're playing in Venom?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Right on." You know, but I didn't really do the fanboy thing. I try to avoid that. You know, it's really ever since the Twiggy Ramirez thing. You know, I kind of put that off. So,
those can really be make or break moments. You know, you get a couple seconds to say something to somebody, and their reaction can change everything. You know.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had those good moments, and a few of us have had bad moments like that. It doesn't stick, doesn't leave, man. It stays with you, right?
Yeah, it does.
How about you, Kristian?
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. I remember this must have been in early 2000. I met Jeff Waters on
yes.
Yeah, you know, fucking Annihilator, man.
You're right.
Met him at a festival, and I just, you know, I saw him walking there, and I just, you know, I'm a huge fan of his, of course. So I walked up to him and just said, like, "Hey, man, you're a big influence on me. You know, I love your playing." And he was like super nice. He started asking me questions, you know, "Hey man, well, thanks man. What, are you playing tonight, or what are you blah blah blah? You know, which band are you in?" I was like, "Yeah, I was in Therion then." So I was like, "Yeah, playing with Therion over on that stage in about 3 hours." And he was like, "I'm gonna check you out, man." And I was like, "Yeah, really?" I didn't believe him. Like, 10 minutes before we were going on, we were in our trailer, and who popped in, like opened the door, it's like Jeff Waters. And he's like, "Who's that? There's that guy. I'm going to check you out, man."
Nice.
And, yeah, man. So I went up on stage, and he's just stood there, like stage left where I was in, like almost the whole gig, just digging. Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, it made me nervous as hell,
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to ask. I'm like, did I put like extra pressure? Like, oh shit, I got to play one now.
Yep. Oh, yeah, man. Totally. Yeah, and so that was cool. He was super nice. And then let's see, I met not really met and talked, but Peter Steele.
Oh wow!
Played, and rest in peace. Love Peter, of course. He played. They played Grass Pop, and this was also with Therion, and we played. We came off stage, and they were just going on stage. And so we just sort of crossed, and he just looked at, I've never met the guy before. And I just looked at him. It's like, "Oh, cool. That's Peter Steele." And he looked at me and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And just, I was like, I think he thinks I'm Scott Ian.
Yes.
That was my initial reaction, because he wouldn't know who I was. So it was cool. I got a
right,
from him. It was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
You get the fun ones, man.
Then the last one, I mean, I didn't have the guts to go up and say anything, but we played in Japan, and then Heaven and Hell played at the same festival. They were headlining on the same day that we played, and I saw Vinny Appice came down to the catering, like small guy, but a legend, of course.
Right.
Yes.
Came in there, and I was like, oh, holy shit. And I was like, should I say something? I didn't have the balls.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Missed moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I asked him, I sent him an email, invited him on the show as well. I haven't heard back. So if he does come on
Too big
back,
for us.
I'll get a hold of you. Kristian, you have your chance to say hi.
Yeah.
You come on the show with us and say hi to him.
Redemption.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Speaking of these European festivals, we don't get shit in the States. We don't. When Ozfest was coming around, we had World Series of Metal or Monsters of Rock. They're occasional. We don't have the big European festivals that are yearly, like you guys do. So what are some of your favorite festivals, one, to either attend as a fan, or two, to play at? So do you have these great festival memories, other than like what you've mentioned? But when you're there, do you have time to enjoy these, as a fan?
Yeah, I think that actually with Sorcerer, we've actually had the luxury of being able to fly in and enjoy some of the stuff, like the festivals as they are. My first gig with the band was at Metal Days in Slovenia, and that's a brilliant festival. I mean, it's just a gorgeous landscape, and it's really the whole town coming together. And yeah, you could watch a whole bunch of great bands, and we had a great gig that gig. So yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So you can sit down and enjoy it. I know that we shared a hotel with, I think it was Obituary, which was kind of cool. Yeah,
nice.
which was really neat. It was just like the Floridian death metal legends. I thought that was kind of cool. And
yeah.
Then you had like the other guys from France, Igor or whatever they're called, which is, they do like really bizarre. It's like IGORRRR, but nice dudes. So yeah, you can enjoy the festivals. I think that that was probably like one of my favorite festivals, the Metal Days. It's an important festival for me because it was my, like I said, first gig with the band, and it was just a beautiful way to start things.
Nice. Kristian, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've played quite a few festivals. I played, the big ones in Europe, I would say. I played Wacken a bunch of times. I played Grass Pop and Sweden Rock in Sweden. And the big ones are fun because, there's a lot of like famous people, running around. Not that you really hang out or anything. Maybe you do sometimes, but I think my what I like most is like maybe the smaller festivals, where you can hang out and you can share a beer. It's not like this crazy security thing where everybody's on their own, in their own. It's like everybody meets in the food area, and just grabs a beer,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So, but we have some cool festivals here for sure. Absolutely.
Nice.
Along similar lines, like we love a good story on this show, like whether it be something that happened live during a show or interactions with fans or while you're on the road touring. Do you guys have any like great stories that you like to retell, something hilarious or bizarre, something that you've told many times? And it doesn't have to be PG, we're all adults here. Lay it on us.
Well, I'm not.
I don't know.
Okay, earmuffs for you then.
I think one of the funnier moments that we had was when Anders turned 50. We were playing in Greece, and we hatched a plan to get like a fake, walker, an inflatable walker, and surprise him during the gig. And then we sang "Happy Birthday."
Nice.
We don't do a whole bunch of crazy stuff like that. Rock and roll excess is just not our style. But we've had some great times in the backstage areas, funny times. So I don't know. Yeah. I'll leave Kristian tell some funny stories.
No, I'm not really.
Nothing.
I'm not really a storyteller. Sorry. I'm trying to think about stuff. Well, we've all done stupid stuff when we're drunk and stuff. But I'm trying to think. I remember a famous bass player. Famous. Yeah, he's famous. He's in a British band. I'm not going to say the band or who it is, of course.
Okay.
But he. This was also with Therion, and he came into our tour bus, and he was pretty drunk. obviously. And he, yeah, man, I'm gonna have, you know, I'm planning on having sex with this porn star. I don't know, he was planning on it, or he was just dreaming on it, whatever, you know. And we were all like, really? Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah. And then it was like, yeah, you want to see my dick? We were like, no, we're good. We don't want to see your dick. And it was like, well, here it is. On the table. Lift it up.
Yes, that's where it needs to go.
What do you think, guys? Is it enough? We were like, that's never going to make it.
Yeah, I don't have those. I don't have those funny.
Great story.
Oh my goodness,
that's fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
that's great. You know, I wanted to, you know, get into some of your albums. How did you kind of get into this doom sound, but also dealing with all the spiritual and occult themes that you do? I mean, that's what attracts me as someone who's an ex-evangelical who spent his life in church, you know, growing up, and then leaving it behind. Like, you know, these are like "Sing to My Soul," you know, the songs about possession and demons. I just like, you know, and the creepy stuff. You have a couple of these tracks, like on Shadow and the Averted Cross, you got the tracks with this choir, you know, and this singing Latin. It's very creepy, very effective. So I just want to know, like, how did these themes and this doom sensibilities evolve?
I think Justin can answer the lyrical part of it.
Yeah, I actually wrote quite a fair bit on lamenting the innocent. You know, it's the same thing. I come from Canada. I was brought up in, you know, a Catholic household for a while. So I just kind of was an apostate, really. I left it behind me and just wrote about it. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff's personal reflection. And yeah, I mean, there's not much I can say about it. I just don't like the church. And, you know, I don't agree with what it stands for. And I think that a lot of the lyrics are reflective, they're human, but I try to use the church as the sort of the metaphor for storytelling, because it's the ultimate good and evil, and it's the conundrum in itself that it's meant to be this great institution, but it's actually extremely poison and just rife with like fear mongering and tyranny. And yeah, for me, it's just a locking story. You can write about that for ages.
Yes.
And I took a lot of influence from like, you know, the witch hunts, from the European witch hunts and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, I just read a lot. I'm just a bookworm, and yeah, that's how it comes out in my.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just based off personal experience and stuff like that. So, but it's an interesting topic to get into.
And a great fit for your music, the musical style that you guys have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
it's pretty doomy. It's pretty doomy.
I was just going to say, excuse me, I was just going to say, speaking of lamenting of the innocent, the one track I wanted to ask you guys about that kind of introduced me to your music. I was like, who's this? You know, and it was Deliverance. And the first time I heard that song, I cried. It's just a beautiful, beautiful song, goosebumps everywhere. And what I wanted to ask is, how did you end up getting together with Johan from Candlemass? And how did that come about? Because that's a fantastic song and duet between Anders and Johan.
Yeah, Anders actually knew Johan from way back. I think Anders was in a band with Johan's younger brother back when they were maybe like 14, 15, 16, around there. And then, so Johan was always around, you know. Anders had met him already back then, you know. But then I think Johan had already left Candlemass. I think he was doing some other stuff. And then they've kept in contact over the years. And then when this song came up, they just got the idea, like, maybe we should do a guest feature here, and who would be a great guest, you know? Yeah, I mean, and I think he came up with Johan's name pretty quickly, you know, because we all love Candlemass, of course. And since they had their they brought Johan back again, it would be a really good fit, you know. So it was easy, really easily done. And I don't know if you've seen it, but we made a little documentary about the recording of the album. It's on our YouTube page, and it's a 4-part documentary. You can see I was there recording, you know, when Anders and Johan, when they heard the song for the first time, and you can see them getting into it, and you know, it's awesome. I get goosebumps just looking at that, you know, because it was really a cool moment. And then Johan laid down the vocal, and that was it, you know.
Yeah,
the guy is a pro.
Got a hell of a voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great song, great album.
Thanks.
Questions?
Yeah, I've got a question. I wanted to bring up, and Justin had touched on Sweden and how they've handled the pandemic. My actual first exposure to you guys was during the Stream Bloody Stream concert. We here in the States, we don't get access to Wolf very often, and my wife and I are massive Wolf fans. So when we saw the stream was going to happen, bought tickets immediately, not really anticipating anything from anyone else, to be honest. And we were floored with your performance. So I was curious on how that kind of got set up and kind of how shows are going in Sweden, you know, since, you know, every country seems to have their own regulations on how they handle their shows now. So I was just interested in that, like how the stream got set up, how shows are happening currently in Bizarro world.
Well, I think that Kristian can answer that because he actually did the bulk of the work on really making that come to fruition and come to life, really.
Yeah, it came up because, I mean, yeah, obviously we didn't have any gigs. We felt like we wanted to do something, you know. We did the last live show with, must have been 2020 in February, right? With Evergrade. We supported
29th of February, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then it was like, you know, right after that, a couple of weeks later, we got into lockdown. You know, it was like the whole pandemic just exploded in Europe and the world. So we just did nothing there, and then we said like, we have to do something. So a stream, because lots of band was streaming at that time. You know, getting into the live stream was Calamas was doing it, Catatonia was doing it and doing really well. So we were like, let's do a stream. So we just asked some friends, you know, we were great friends with Wolf. And then we looked around for other bands, and Justin suggested his former band, Descend, killer band. Really happy they were on there. And then we found Lugnet, also sort of friends of ours. And we did it at my workplace. I work at this place called Popskolan in outskirts of Stockholm. So we just set it up there. We have a nice stage with great lights and everything. And we just took it from there, you know, and decided on set times and everything. And everybody was so cool. It was like actually, I mean, maybe behind the scenes was a lot of work, but
you're right.
Show day. Yeah, you know, but the actual show day, it was like a walk in the park. Everybody was doing their part, you know, shipping in, helping out. It just flowed, you know, it was so much fun.
That was glorious.
Really well.
Bring that one on the road. That's a tour that I would love to see in the States. That was a fantastic show. So we were happy to have to happen into that one because, you know, I think we found that on Facebook, you know, and it's hit or miss in what you see with algorithms and whatnot. So happy to have caught that show. It was awesome. And so how is oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I just think it was a great mix of different styles and bands. You know, it was.
Yeah,
it's one thing to have like you know, if you're gonna have a black metal stream or something like that, it's like 4 black metal bands. That gets tiring. So it's nice to have some variation and just different styles. And I thought that lineup was really, it was eclectic and it was nice.
No, it was perfect. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was a good, flawless kind of like, well, not flawless, but it was a good, you know, a good mix.
Right. Yeah. No, it was interesting. That's the thing. Is like you said, it wasn't all. Everyone didn't sound the same. That's what would keep me in the club. You know, I was in my own home, which was great. The bathrooms were clean and the beer was much cheaper, but still at the same time, it was a fantastic show. That's the first time we've ever bought tickets to a stream. And I happened to be talking to people, you know, on Facebook, like through Messenger, that were watching the stream simultaneously. So, I mean, it wasn't the same as being at a live concert, but man, what a great fill-in, you know, because shows still weren't happening here. So, I mean, it Absolutely fantastic. So how is Sweden now in terms of shows? Are venues, are you guys playing more? Is it? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man, that's perfect.
Did you guys just have a great numbers to get vaccinated? I mean, was it the program? Is everyone vaccinated? Is that how you got to normal? I mean, because there was a lot of politicization of the vaccine in the United States still going on.
I mean, I mean, Sweden. They've always been like, I'm speaking as an outsider and as an immigrant as well. You know, Sweden has always had this kind of like, they're not afraid of conflicts. They don't want to tread on people's toes. You know, it was more up to the individuals to get vaccinated and stuff like that. So, I mean, and I think that when push came to shove, you know, people, yeah, of course you had this whole anti-vax movement and stuff like that. But I mean, people were taking it seriously and getting vaccinated and taking social distancing measures and stuff like that. So it was, you know, it was all right, I think. So
yeah, and we're about, I think we're on like something like 80% of coverage now, right? 80% vaccination coverage, I think. Something
like that, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, right now it's going okay, but I mean, winter's coming up. Depends on if we get any more, you know, mutations or whatever.
Right.
You know, who knows?
Right.
Yeah, that's great. I hope we get there soon.
Yeah, must be nice.
Right, because it's still ravaging parts of the country, and unfortunately, you know.
Yeah.
So, well, what will you be doing during the winter? You know, like, what do you do on the off times? I know, Justin, we had talked about, you know, your job, but like, what are your favorite things to do when you're not playing or recording?
Thinking about playing and recording with Sorcerer. Because I miss those guys. We live in the same city, but it's just nice to, you know, see the guys, and, you know, even when we're rehearsing and stuff like that, it's just this really chill, relaxed atmosphere, and I look forward to it. In my free time, I read a lot, write lyrics and poetry and stuff like that, and yeah, just hang out.
Nice.
So are you guys able to tour? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kristian. I was just going to say, are you guys able to tour then in Sweden at least, or in Europe?
We got some stuff coming up. So
yeah,
you know,
we have a show in Poland in December, and I think we have another one as well. I don't know if that's been announced, but we're going to do something else. But and then next year, hopefully, if you know, it stays the way it stays, we're going to have a bunch of shows, a bunch of cool shows coming up, festivals, and maybe a small tour or something.
Great.
Nice.
But yeah.
Are you guys currently working on, can you answer that, currently working on new material then, and next Sorcerer album we can expect soon? Or?
Yeah. I think we're constantly...
No, but we're working on it. Absolutely. We're writing. For sure.
Yeah, we're constantly writing and doing things, you know. So I mean, Kristian does a fantastic job. Like he mentioned, the YouTube channel, you know, he's been piecing together videos and stuff like that. And you know, he did all the editing for the cover videos that we released. Did a fantastic job. So I mean,
I was just gonna talk to you guys about that. Those are fantastic covers too. Gates of Babylon and When Death Calls. That was was that just is that something that's possibly going to be included on a release as well, or is that just something that you just decide to do? Hey, we're just going to start kind of our tribute.
Well, we don't want to give too much away, really, but I mean, that was just something that was like a tip of our hats to our heroes kind of thing, you know. It's like, I mean, it's Black Sabbath and Rainbow, so
right.
We all
enough said.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean,
right. Big and powerful. So, Kristian, I see back on your guitar head, you've got it looks like a mask or some kind of horror, like a pumpkin thing. Can you let's we're gonna shift gears and go a little more into the horror stuff now. So, who's on your guitar?
Yeah, it was a mask. I bought it. Let's see, I bought it 2 years ago, I think, just to scare the neighborhood kids. And what I did was pre-pandemic, of course, you know, it was, this must have been 3 years ago. Yeah. And I sit outside where I live in this quite populated area, you know, where people go by all the time. So I just put on the mask and lots of clothes and just sat in my chair, you know, with besides me, there was a huge bucket that said candy on it. You know? And we sat there with this guy. You know,
Sort of reminiscent of Eddie.
Totally still, you know, like a doll, you know. And then you could see the kids come in looking at me like, is he for real or is it a doll? And then they see the candy next to me, and it's like, it's worth the risk, you know. Reach for the candy, you know. They piss themselves.
If their parents are around, do anyone take a punch at you or anything?
They were laughing also at their kids being scared. Yeah.
Well,
that's funny. That exact same thing happened to me when I was young. Montag, with your sister, we went out trick-or-treating because we're the same age, and I was maybe we were 8 to 10 years old maybe, and somebody pulled that same thing on us. You know, it looked like a stuffed you know, decoration that jumped up at us, and I left her in the dust, man. She was a goner. There was no
dead.
honor in that. Yeah, absolutely. At that age there is no chivalry, it's survival.
Ladies first.
Equal opportunity. Yeah. So since Halloween is coming up, like, what do you have any special plans for Halloween? Anything that you'd like to do during this season?
I just like to watch scary movies. So it's not a big holiday here, to be honest. It's starting to get bigger, which is nice. But Kristian's having his he has a party that he does at his place where we all dress up and drink beers, and he's really good at it. So I mean,
he's good at drinking beers, or
no, but he's good at putting this party together. It's always fun. So I mean,
lots of credit goes to my wife there. I have to say, she's really the mastermind behind all this. But yeah, we're gonna have a party on Saturday, and I can reveal I'm turning 50.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So it's a combination of like a Halloween party. The last one, like I said, was in 2018. So after since the pandemic, we haven't had one, but we're having it on Saturday and inviting like, I think 25, 30 people, some beer. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right. Costumes?
Definitely costumes.
Nice.
Sure.
Mandatory.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
otherwise, like Justin said, you know, Halloween is not really big yet here, but it, like I said, it's coming. You know, it's definitely my favorite holiday for sure.
Nice.
You know,
I mean, I used to love it.
When
I was living in Canada, I mean, it was just the best time of year. It was so much fun. Even like Devil's Night the night before, where you went out and pranked everybody and did stuff like that. You know, that was what I used to do. I was just that shitty kid that went and TP'd the principals. You know, or we got these like the Hostess cupcakes. And we used to drive around and just, throw them at people.
Throwing cupcakes.
At people.
That's so Canadian.
Yeah. And you would just see it explode like cream and chocolate everywhere. I mean,
instead of eggs, cupcakes.
Yeah, it's better than eggs. That's what we used to do.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they were a lot softer as well. Like, if you're driving in a car and you huck an egg at someone, it's like a stone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that can hurt.
It breaks when it ricochets off their body. I mean, and I'm not that big. Like, there was some, it was probably not cool to throw cupcakes either, but I mean, it was just something you did when you were a teenager, nothing better to do in a small town, and it was all in good fun.
Sure.
So, I mean, we never went out to intentionally hurt people. It was just more
Yeah.
I'm interested in asking what is your favorite kind of horror genre, and maybe in your scariest movie of all time?
Oh man, that is a hard question.
Like for me, I know Possession. They freak me out. That's the scariest kind for me.
Possessions.
Not so much. Yeah, that scares the hell out of me. But like not so much like the Gorehound stuff and everything. Like seen it, done it, seen it, all that. But somehow with the Possession ones just really chill me, freak me.
I mean, I loved the early 80s science fiction horror movies, like The Thing, Alien, stuff like that. Those films are just fantastic. And what a great, like, it's just it's not just this run-of-the-mill serial killer running around and stabbing people. There was more to it. It was more elaborate.
Monsters are always better. I love monsters too, man.
Yeah, and I love, like, you know, the old Romero, you know, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, those movies, like zombie movies and stuff like that. Like, they were just fantastic. And I think the one movie that scared the hell out of me, it was a Jason movie, and I'll never forget it. I can't remember which of the plethora of Jason films that there are. It was the one where, you know, the campers are sleeping in the tents, and he picks up the sleeping bag and smashes the camper against the tree. That scared the absolute hell out of me. I remember I was just like a kid, and I was waking up, and my dad was watching it, and I saw that, and it gave me nightmares.
Oh, you've never slept in a sleeping bag or tent to this day?
Yeah.
No.
Excellent. Kristian, how about you? I see the Alien 3 poster in the back. So what are some of your favorite horror movies?
I mean, Alien for sure. I mean, not the 3
Nice.
actually. I have one over there and 2 over there, you know, and then But for me, it's Alien. That's my favorite movie, like probably of all time. And that also one of those who's scared me, you know, the stomach scene with Kane, you know. Yeah, you know, I was at my friend's house, and his brother had it. You know, he was a bit older, so he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to show you this cool thing. Come on, it's a movie." Like, "Oh, what kind of movie is it?" "Ah, nothing bad. Just watch this scene." It was like, holy shit! It was like, freaked me out. You know, the chest burster scene.
Yeah.
So that was one, and also later was actually The Ring, the American version of The Ring.
Okay.
I was really freaked out by that one. Something about it that was just really creepy. I saw it again now, like a year ago or something. It wasn't not the same at all. It was like, oh, I still like that movie. But when I saw it, when I saw it in the movies, it was like me and my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, but we were like the only two in this huge cinema, and it was like on the huge screen. It's like, that was it was intense.
Have you seen the Japanese version? Have you seen Ringu?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
Better
Or better.
I think it's better. Yeah, it's too often Asian or foreign horror films come to America and they get dumbed down because the amount of money that goes into an American production. The Hollywood producers can't afford to lose money, so they dumb things down so that nobody misses something. Yeah. And sometimes it's insulting. So I try to seek out the original, you know, but I think it's creepier for sure. But those last 5 minutes on both versions are just some of the scariest stuff you'll ever see. You know, when the TV comes on, you know, and she starts crawling out, I'm like, oh, fuck, man. That's that bad, you know. But here's something. The first time I watched Ringu, there's the scene in the beginning, you know, where the girls are talking and then they get the phone call. You know, and then they hear, you know, they watch the tape and then the phone call and how they're going to die, you know, and I'm like, watch this, like, oh shit. And as soon as that scene was over, like they showed the videotape, because so then the viewers pulled in, my phone rang. And I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like, I didn't know whether to answer to that. I was like, oh shit, I got a week to live, you know. I never had that before. I'm like, that was just perfect timing.
Awesome. 7 days.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm sure there are some people who are sad that I didn't perish.
I mean, I have to admit as well, like that scene in the American version, where it's the two girls stalking, and then like when it cuts to her like in the closet, and it makes that, it's like a jump scare.
Yeah,
it gets me every time. It's just a weird, just a uncomfortable, like the look of the dead, you know, girl, and it's just that's a creepy chill factor right there. That's just, for me, it gets me every time.
Oh yeah. Well, as fans in America, as horror fans in America, there's not a lot of really good horror coming out of the States. It's a lot of remakes and a lot of torture porn. It's not entertaining to see torture porn. You know, the first Saw was great because it was more of a psychological. But by the time Saw 3 came around, it's like, no, that's just too much. But I've been a huge fan of European horror. You know, there's a lot of great stuff coming out of Sweden. Maybe you could kind of give me some ideas about what's coming out that I haven't, you know, that we may not have seen in the States. Are there any particular movies that stand out to you that you say, oh yeah, this is pretty exciting?
There's one that got remade in the States. Låt den rätte komma in. Let the right one in.
Oh yeah.
The original's great.
It is fantastic.
So I mean, it's got that vibe that, I mean, you can do it. It's like you can do a remake and Americanize it, sure, but you're never going to get that vibe, that Swedish vibe.
No, it's not a bad remake though, but it's not the same.
No.
Well, I mean, it's like the Stig Larsson series, you know, the girl with the dragon tattoo and stuff like that. Like,
Right. Yeah.
there's certain things that are happening in those movies within the Swedish society that's just too hard to explain to an American audience. Like, especially like, I'm only digressing on this because a lot of people like those movies, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but there's like the second film. It's just the third film. It's a court. It's the Swedish court. And it's not the same as the American one. I mean,
right.
And doing an entire movie based on that would just be totally lost for an American audience. So, I mean, there's a few really cool movies that have come out, but Låt den rätte komma in, Let the Right One In is quite possibly one of my more favorites. It's a really nice build up in that film, and the acting is really good, and it's just creepy.
It's stark too. I love the outdoor scene. It's beautiful. It's stark. And that's why I enjoy growing up as a child of the 70s, watching films that had a slow burn quality to that, kind of build up organically. I appreciate it. I really enjoy the journey. You know, I don't have to have a head flying off in the first 5 minutes to pull me in. Like, no, you know, that's, I'd rather have it not, you know, build up to something, because the relationship between those two characters, that's what sells the movie. You know, and that's what makes it powerful and great.
I was actually living in the area where it was filmed, the outdoor scenes. It was filmed just outside of my flat. And I can remember walking by, because they sprayed the grass with snow. So it was fake snow. And then they had like all this blood. And I remember walking home. And I was just, what the hell is going on here? There's blood everywhere. What happened? It's that scene in the park where she attacks the guy.
Yep, from the bridge, jumps on him. And,
yeah. So that bridge is just outside of my flat.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So it was kind of cool. I have a picture of it somewhere. Of course, you know, being the new guy in Sweden, you know, that was like my first year here when they were filming that, and I had to take a picture. So
yeah,
excellent.
Kristian, sorry, Justin.
That's fine.
Kristian, what of some of your other, like, some of your favorite Swedish horror movies?
Oh, I don't know many Swedish horror movies. Sorry, the one Justin mentioned was probably the only one I can think of.
Well, this horror. Then how about horror in general? Other than that,
yeah, sure. I mean, you've seen all of them, I think. Yes. But you asked before about
the
genres. I mean, genres. I think I love the possession movies. I love the sci-fi horror. But I always love, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that type of stuff. But I'm not a huge fan of the Saw and the torture porn, like you mentioned. That gets old really quickly. It's not fun, you know. But I've seen some cool ones. I mean, the French have made some disturbing ones. I mean, the Irreversible, you know the one? It's filmed backwards. It's about like a rape, pretty much. It's terrible.
I think I have saw that. Oh, it's so hard to watch. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. And
very. That's scary. And also I saw, I think from maybe Argentina or Chile. It's called Aterados. It's like a supernatural, but like monsters, pretty much. You know, it's called Aterados. I can recommend that one. That was really cool. I saw it on, I think, Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise than that, I mean, I'm looking to the side. I have a little list here of movies I really enjoy. I mean, I like the Conjuring movies, for instance. The early James Wan movies. You know, love those. First two, you know, Insidious. I love that one too. That was really cool. First one. Then Event Horizon is a cool one.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very cool one.
Underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's really spooky. Really spooky.
Yeah. Very spooky, yeah.
And then one I saw, I was totally, I didn't expect anything. It's called Don't Knock Twice. You know that one?
I've seen it. I think it's on Netflix. It was on my list, but I've not seen it yet.
Okay. That's a pretty cool one. It's like a witch story, you know.
Okay.
And the Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's a cool one. Like that one.
Possession movies.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the last cool ones was Hereditary. I like that one.
Oh,
That was a creepy.
There were some pretty good scenes in that.
Very cool.
I can't have my head out the window of a moving car ever again.
No.
I don't think it was a good idea before watching the film. But to each their own.
nice.
But of course, we have all the classics we all know. I mean, of course, The Exorcist and The Shining, obviously, and that sort of stuff. But like, it's difficult to find a lot of great ones. You know, it's
they rely too quickly on either jump scares or the torture porn. It's right. What
would be something that you would suggest that you've seen that you're could recommend?
Have you seen The Descent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I also like when a good horror can bring a comedy element to it as well. Not a lot of movies can do that effectively.
Evil Dead.
Yeah, like the Evil Dead. I would say, was it? Oh shit! It's not Sliver. What's the one with the worms? Oh shit!
Sounds like Sliver, actually.
It's a Sliver. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, that was a good one. If you want, I don't know if you've seen Midsommar.
Yeah.
Midsommar.
Yeah, that's you get that dark Wicker Man kind of thing. The Witch is really good.
I loved The Witch.
Yeah,
that film is.
I was so disappointed with that one. Sorry.
I really.
Thank you. I also hate it. So
let's hear it.
I feel better.
What did you not like about it, Kristian?
First of all, it was not scary at all. You know, I was like, we're just waiting for something to happen. And was like, and at the end, it's the fucking goat. Like, oh.
Living deliciously means floating above the forest naked.
I liked it. I thought it was. I thought the scoring was good. I thought that the build up was good. I like when films are a bit slow, and you're able to get character development. Like I'm watching right now Midnight Mass on Netflix.
Yes.
And I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like I'm enjoying it. And I like that it's taking the time to build and swell and be just it's leading to something. And while The Witch, I mean the ending could have been a bit better. That was a bit like all right. But I thought it was still pretty good.
The atmosphere.
It had its moments.
Yeah, it's an atmospheric, and the horror it's very subtle because you see The Witch. It's a very subtle. It's more psychological in a way at times. This paranoia building up, this religious fervor, and I kind of like that about that. Another one. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to just say what The Witch does, like because you're watching it. And you're thinking pretty much like they did back in those days, like everything's happening to this girl. So you're naturally, as the film's progressing, you're thinking, well, it's got to be her. She's the witch. So that was what you would do in like Salem back in the day. You would just point your finger at them and be like, she's a witch. Burn them.
Yep. Or as Monty Python would say,
she turned me into a newt. Yeah.
Well, that got better.
better.
My wife's ancestor was Cotton Mather, the guy who wrote the book on how to identify witches.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd known that. It's a terrifying aspect of what happened in Europe and America to a much smaller scale. But it's nice to see these themes kind of still being talked about and developed. I like those as well. As far as other horror films, I might suggest, have you seen Train to Busan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I love it.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a lot more action, but the Korean horror stuff I've noticed is really, there's a lot of emotion involved. It's not just short horror. There's a lot of pathos because that takes its time to develop as well. And really care about these characters and what's going on in their lives,
Like The Wailing. The Wailing's another example. Fantastic film. Yeah.
Okay. It's on my list. I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Good.
Fantastic.
I mean, that's like the episode I watched. I stopped watching The Walking Dead after a while. I got kind of bored of it. But there was a few really good moments, and when Steve Yeun was still in the show as Glenn, you know, I'd read the graphic novel, so I knew his fate from the very get-go.
Right.
But I thought it was so brilliantly done. The thank you episode is called, where, you know, they're standing on the dumpster, and the guy turns around to Glenn and just says thank you, and then poof, and they fall into the zombies. I thought it was so brilliantly filmed, brilliantly shot, just epic. And while it looks like he's getting, you know, disemboweled and eviscerated, you feel for him. You're just like, no, you've built a relationship. You're invested.
Right.
And that was one thing that actually The Walking Dead used to be good at, was that they created characters that you were invested in.
Right.
And I mean, that's why I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the best kind of horror, really. And that's why I kind of like The Witch as well, because it's people that are horrible. That's what's scary. It's like, you don't need monsters or you know, aliens. Like, it's just terrifying to know that somebody can, like a human being, somebody, your own neighbor, could be just this nightmare.
Right.
That's what's creepy.
Yeah, the monster within.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
For sure.
I'm disappointed that no one mentioned Troll 2, because it's the greatest film ever.
They're gonna, oh no, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh no.
Yes.
Welcome to Nilbach.
Oh my god.
Such a glorious
you
film.
don't piss on hospitality.
You don't piss on hospitality.
Actually, one movie that really scared the hell out of me when I was a kid was actually Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes.
Like that troll under the bed, that scene terrified me. You see that big troll, it's like, you know, you had Ernest, but you know, it's Ernest. I mean,
that was what Super Soakers filled with milk saved the world, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely absurd.
Right. Do you have any other recommendations for us? Or what else is on your list, Kristian? You had a list. You said, what? Any other things on there that maybe some of us have seen?
Sure. Let's see. It's one called Honeymoon. I think it's Australian. It's not really like super scary or any. It's just about this couple just married, go in a honeymoon, and just strange things starts to happen to the girl, you know, and it's a bit supernatural. I really liked it. It was like, I never heard it. I just read about it somewhere, just got it and watched it, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking cool, you know.
I think I saw that, but it may be under a different name.
Okay.
Are they outside, like at a cabin, or like go off on a hunt? Yes.
They're in a cabin. Yeah, in a cabin, and it's very slow, and just weird shit starts to happen, you know.
Yeah.
It's really, and she goes out in the middle of the night, comes back, you know, like all, you know, wet or something, blah, and it's like, what happens, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And also one called The Invitation. You seen that one?
Invitation.
Yeah, it's with what's his name? Logan Marshall Green, I think, the actor.
Yeah, that title sounds familiar.
It's also not like super scary, but they're like a bunch of couples go to this another couple's house, and they're invited to dinner. You know?
Yes, I have seen this one. I have seen this one. Yes, it's a psychological, right?
Yes,
it's like a psychological thriller. Yeah, it was pretty solid. Yeah,
I liked it. You know, I didn't expect anything. You know, horror movies, you just check Netflix and it's like, oh, whatever is this? You know, and you check it. And it's like,
this was cool. There was a lot of mind fucks in that one.
Yeah,
in particular. Yeah,
for sure. And then there's also one called The Creep. Well, there's another one, Creep, which is on a subway, but it's not this one. This is the other Creep. Guy named Mark Duplass, actor. You know that guy? Mm. You heard about him. I think he's got a brother, Jay. Mark and Jay, they've done like a bunch of movies together. It's like super low budget, like probably filmed on a camcorder or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just about this guy who puts in an ad in the paper and it needs an assistant to film like his last couple of weeks in life or something, you know. That's the start of the movie, and I think it's only like 2 people in the movie, and it's managed to get like fucking scary. You know?
Nice.
Okay.
That is a
And
good one.
I can recommend that one. It's called Creep.
Creep. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check
There's
that out.
also now a Creep 2, I think. I haven't seen that one yet, but Creep, the first one, good one.
Creep 2,
It's
even creepier.
always a foreboding thing to see part 2 after in a horror movie.
Yeah, right.
Like like Evil Dead 2. It's like it's just the remake of the first one, but funny.
Right. So they're going to remake it and then go on a little bit further. Yeah. Well, I think horror films are so notoriously cheap to make, and they usually make a great return on their money. You know, like Saw didn't cost very much to make, $2 million, but it raked in $200 million. You know, so they're like, make more. You know,
and all the paranormal series. I guess that guy's loaded now.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like,
exactly.
Printing money.
Yeah.
All those
I really
6
like
cameras.
I really like some of the obscure stuff as well. There was one filmed in Canada called Pontypool that I really enjoyed. Actually, it was kind of a cool, unique concept on radio frequencies causing zombies, and that was brilliant. I thought
all from the radio station, the DJ talking. Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, Chop Top and I have seen that. Yeah, we
Love it.
get together before the pandemic. We would get together regularly and have these all day long movies and food and cigars, and we have seen all kinds of horror. We've been horror fans since we were kids, you know. Yeah, Pontypool, it's great fun.
That was it was just a fun movie. And there's actually before The Walking Dead and everything, I thought there was a really cool series that came out of the UK called The Dead Set, which is just a phenomenal concept in itself. It's about Big Brother, like these Big Brother reality TV shows, and you've got all these people locked up in this house, and there's a zombie apocalypse outside, and it revolves around these people that are there, and they have no idea what's going on. It just keeps going, and like some of the characters, like the executive, he's like I think he's an American, and he's so vile and disgusting, and he's locked in this room with like his assistant, and he's just this pig. So when he gets his comeuppance, it's just like, oh yeah, tear him apart, like, and it just ends. Like I also love these movies that just they end on the more down notes, like there is no hope. Like at the end of the remake for Dawn of the Dead, which I thought was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah. They come to the island, and it's kind of clipping in, and then all of a sudden you see all the zombies running from this deserted island. It's just like it's everywhere.
Like you're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. Have either of you seen Squid Game?
Nope.
On Netflix?
Just started watching that last night.
Yeah.
We watched 3 episodes last night.
Right. What do you think, Kristian?
I think it's very cool. I mean, very violent, but I dig it. My wife started watching it, and I was like, this looks lame, And then I just checked out a couple of episodes, and then I was hooked, That was really cool. I dig it. Yeah. I haven't seen the end yet, so don't spoil it.
I won't spoil a thing. Yeah, we binged that over a couple days. It was just easy to binge, like I'm doling out Black Mass, like 1 episode a night. So at least I could, I want to sit and watch it all day, but like, no, I want to enjoy the journey. Yeah.
That's the problem with Netflix, is that you get a whole season as opposed to just like one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it really takes away that longing for the next episode. But yeah, I haven't seen Squid Game, and I'm not really buying into it right now. I'll see it when it kind of the hype cools down. Like, I haven't seen, for example, like Game of Thrones. I've never seen a single episode.
Oh, okay.
Just like these kind of like big TV shows. It's just not my. I like the underground stuff. I like the hype. I like the the hype of these like Romero films and stuff like that. I remember when zombie movies were like the most cliched. Everybody hated them, and then The Walking Dead came, and everybody's like, I'm a huge George Romero fan. It's like, you weren't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, you weren't. Bandwagon.
Yeah. I was like you, Justin. I was reading the graphic novel or the comic books well before the series came on the TV, so I was excited for it. And what I really liked about that is that it was the same story, but then they also wove in another. And so I liked how they were kind of going back and forth to kind of keep it fresh for people like us who had read it. You didn't want to know everything that was going to happen.
No.
But once Negan came in and how that was dealt with, and I don't know, it was season 7 or 8 when
it went down.
Carol went from like this strong character who was teaching kids how to make knives and stuff to like this simpering weakling. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened here? And that's like, we stopped, and then the season cliffhanger with a second head bastion. Like, wait a minute, fuck you. So I was done after that.
Hey, now
I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked. My favorite book that I've ever read is actually a horror novel, and it's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's my all-time favorite book. I've got Frankie there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's my favorite book. And I love at least in the graphic novels of The Walking Dead, how what's perceived to be the protagonists, the humans that are not zombies,
right?
They transcend and become the monsters themselves in the form of Negan and these groups of survivors that are just nasty and horrible. And just totally exploiting the situation. I like that story, just like in Frankenstein, where it's Victor, the doctor, that transcends to the monster, and it's the monster that transcends to being this, it's just this something that you sympathize with, you empathize with the monster, and I love that.
Well, that's a good segue into who is your favorite Universal monster, and why is it Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah, I didn't like what they did with Frankenstein.
Okay, fair enough.
But Creature from the Black Lagoon is also just a classic.
Love it.
It's just, I just love the look of the monster.
Right, right.
I love the feel of that film. It's just I thought that was one of the more scarier ones of the old classic Universal.
Agree.
As it was the more. I mean, you had Dracula, you had Frankenstein and stuff like that, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Those are books written, and I don't think that they did the literature justice in that sense. Whereas The Creature from the Black Lagoon was totally made by Universal as just a standalone horror concept. And I thought it was the better of the group.
Yeah, toward the end of the era too. In the 50s, they weren't doing much horror at the time, and it was shot in 3D. So, which I've never seen it in 3D, but I would like to.
Be cool.
Yeah. That Gilman outfit, for the time, that was fantastic. That's just incredible. Still looks incredible, that suit today.
Right.
Yeah, it's just and like I said, the monster looks just so cool.
Yeah, it's my favorite. That's why I said that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That monster is totally iconic. But I got Frankenstein, the Universal Frankenstein, because he's the most easily recognizable.
Right, fair enough.
So if I'm going to get a tattoo, there's no pictures of Frankenstein's monster in the books.
Right.
So you have to have this concept in your head. I thought that the Frankenstein's monster in the Penny Dreadful series was brilliant.
I love that.
Probably the best adaptation of that monster.
Great series.
I love that. It was just, he was my favorite character, of course, because it's Frankenstein's monster. But I thought that was the best Frankenstein's monster portrayal. Like Robert De Niro's was bad. Did you
like the Hammer?
Hollywood.
Did you like the Hammer films with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing?
Oh yeah. Geez, it's just, I love those old, just classic. You know that they're cliched, and that they're dated and stuff, but they're still great to watch. Just to sit down and be like,
right.
You want to kill some time, throw on some old Hammer horror classics. It's just
the gothic settings alone and stuff, atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful sets.
Yeah,
it's where I saw my first boobs as a kid. So that was exciting.
Very important. Very important.
Right?
That says a lot.
That says a lot. Montag's in to watch Christopher Lee, and he's just boobies.
Yeah, right.
That's the Mummy. Still scares me. Christopher Lee as the Mummy when he's coming out of that swamp. It's just like, oh fuck. Every time I see it, I'm like, I'm that scared 8-year-old kid. Watching it every time, I still get the creeps, and that's what I love about it. It's visceral, even though I know I've seen it 100 times, it never fails to impress. It's just really great.
There's something scary about like ancient evil getting reawakened. I don't know. They're like, Lovecraft stuff or whatever. There's just something really creepy about this ancient, timeless evil that's always lurking there. It's really scary.
Yeah, I think that the H.P. Lovecraft, like you had Herbert West, the Reanimator, which was the adaptation. It's H.P. Lovecraft basically stealing Frankenstein.
Right.
But it was his adaptation of that tale, and it was good. The movies are delightfully just cheesy and great.
H.P. Lovecraft films are always not that good, unfortunately. Yeah. That's the sad thing. But maybe that'll change someday.
There's a fan-made version of The Color Out of Space, which is really kind of awesome.
I haven't watched that yet. I think it's on Hulu or something. Or
Hulu, I think I saw it. I saw it on YouTube. Really good. In a lot of ways better than the Nick Cage version. That shouldn't be too surprising. But it's really faithful to the story in a lot of ways. Yeah. I used to teach Lovecraft in my English classes. I taught Lovecraft, and I had students come up to me who were fans of like Twilight, and they said, "Mr. Justin," I know. They said, "I can never read Twilight again." I go, "You're welcome." It's like, so no, I totally get it. Those classics are fantastic. Did you watch those as a kid, like the Universal stuff, the Hammer stuff? Were you into watching that when you were young as well? Kristian?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, really. I don't think so. I'm not really familiar with that term, actually. What does it entail?
Universal's a movie studio that produced Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman,
black and white,
1930s and 40s, classic, monster films. And then Hammer was a British company that started making remakes of these in the 50s and 60s. And so these are studios, like stuff that I grew up on as a kid. Like I saw Horror of Dracula with Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee when I was like 4. It scared the shit out of me. And, I loved every minute of it. I was between that and watching like Godzilla and Gamera, Ultraman and stuff like that,
Super host.
Yeah, it was darker. It was just like more ambient and darker, bigger sets and way more just like detail in the set pieces. It was a really cool take actually on the Dracula. There's so many Dracula movies, but
I think
Hammer stuff is great.
I think the first Dracula I remember seeing was Jack Palance.
Oh,
I think he played Dracula.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only one I remember, from way back when I was a kid. And then of course the Frankenstein Justin was talking about. Those are cool. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Dracula where Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves are giving their best British accents.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was like a sore thumb. I mean, I like the guy. Keanu, if you're listening, come on the show. But but it's a beautiful looking film.
Right.
I like that aspect. And I mean Tom Waits, in there. I mean, there's a lot of great scenes and a lot of great it's atmospheric and gorgeous to look at,
I mean, what's his name?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman,
yeah.
I mean, that's his best, one of his best performances, I found.
It's amazing.
Great.
And then if you ever watch the behind the scenes stuff, there was a scene where he's in the bat, makeup, the prosthetic, and he's talking to the director, but he's in his British accent. So he's got this bat. So you want me to go over there? I'm like, no. So out. Like I wanted him to be Vlad Dracula with this accent, and he's standing there talking as just this guy from England,
Oh.
And it was just so weird. But yeah, those films are like they're like the staple of my childhood. I think for most of us growing up with these things, and they still continue to be entertaining. There's a child, it connects to the inner child. That's what's great about it. So is this part of what drives or your creativity in any way, shape, or form? This horror. Do you see a connection between, not to bring it all the way around, but between horror and aspects of your music at all?
I mean, lyrically, yeah. I think that I wrote, for example, Age of the Damned. I was trying to be quite graphic with the lyrics in that song. There's a lot of stuff about, the torture methods that they used in that time during the European witch craze, like throwing stones, like tying you up and weighing you down in water with stones, and pulling you apart on the rack, stuff like that. So I mean, you try to be as especially with stuff like that kind of content, you want to be kind of over the top,
right, and realistic. I mean, that's what really happened. And you'll see that. I'm not sure if you're into like H.G. Lewis. Well, they did a lot of those things in his movie 2000 Maniacs.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, which they could see that the stones being torn apart. He was that father of American splatter cinema. Those films are funny. There's a funny to the sense of humor.
There's some humor in the torture.
Yeah, a little bit. You can't watch Wizard of Gore and not laugh. Yeah. It's just so ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah, but I think that's the way it should be. That's like why I like Brain Dead and the Evil Dead series. I just love the amount of blood and just the over the top nature. But I mean, in terms of writing, at least lyrically, I don't think we can really go into like a crossover of horror with the music. The music sounds as it does.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we can get some vibe, some ambience from watching certain horror films, maybe incorporated a little bit into the music. But I think that the lyrics are basically, if anything, what I would take away from the horror genre. Mm-hmm. And I like that concept. I just like to be graphic and it makes things interesting. It's better than just kind of like, singing the same chorus. Like Age of the Damned, for example, it's just like there's not really a same or a similar chorus or bridge in that song. It's just there's a lot of text and it's supposed to be descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like Hammer of Witches. I love that that chorus.
Yeah.
It's like it's right in your face, but it's not like you said, it's not the same as like all the other songs, the bridges are different, choruses are different. So, but I love that chorus, and I love the whole album. So
that was Kristian's idea, actually.
Nice.
The growling thing.
Nice. Yeah.
Great touch.
Yeah, because we were doing Exorcise the Demon from the Inverted Cross album live a few times.
Yes.
And I was playing the role of Satan and doing the growlings. And I think Kristian wrote Witches, and then he has this. I have the demo somewhere where he's doing the burn bit, and it just sounds so cool.
I don't know about that, but at least the idea is there. Sounds cool.
It is great. It sounds awesome.
And growling those words in when I was recording with Kristian, it was the little closet there. Jesus, it got hot, and I was just literally screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, oh, is it fucking over? Jesus.
Oh man.
One thing I have to mention, we're talking about the connection between horror movies and our music. I mean, I really pay a lot of attention to the soundtracks of when I watch all movies, but especially horror movies, because there's sometimes like Justin was touching on, like getting the vibe of it, and the music obviously has a lot to do with it. So there's been numerous occasions where I've stolen a couple of notes here and there and just like a little theme or something. It's like, holy shit, this is sets a really cool vibe or a cool atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to borrow that and use it in one of our songs, and maybe as an intro, whatever, something, just 2 notes, 3 notes,
Mm-hmm.
and it really works. It sets up a mood, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
As long as they're not Disney notes.
Let it go.
Disney horror.
Does the wind. Yeah,
Disney's the first, the first company that comes in like, whoa, you can't play that chord progression.
Right.
That's evil.
That's right.
Walt's coming back from the dead to sue you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a horror movie right there. Walt Disney. There it is.
Walt Disney. Space Nazi.
That's right.
But I think that, like Kristian said as well, like I think that's one thing that's actually criminally underrated in terms of the horror movie genre. Like if you're listening or if you're watching the movie Alien, there's this sort of the way that they scored that film was brilliant, because before you actually see the xenomorph or the alien for the first time, throughout the entirety of the film, there's like a low frequent hum. And it was so well done because you're used to that sound. And then maybe about 15 seconds before you actually see the xenomorph, they stop with that hum. And you get awkward. You're just like, there's something that I was hearing, but now it's just weird. What's going on? And then it, the jump scare, and it's just so effective. And I thought that that's just a brilliant use of scoring and just the small nuances in the music. It's just it's great.
It's a great soundtrack. It's one of the few I have. It's brilliant. I put it on when I write because I like having something that's background and it's dissonant, and it's got some great sound effects. That and also like the soundtrack for the movie Ravenous. Not sure if either of you have seen that. Yeah, great score by Michael Nyman and David and Albarn. Just great stuff with that. So that's awesome. Well, guys, do you have any more questions? I don't want to keep them all night. We could talk horror for hours, but I really want to respect your time. And
we're here at your, for you guys. So, I mean, if there's anything.
Sure. Being musicians and obviously music fans, do either of you have that coveted record, be it a CD, cassette, vinyl? All musicians have that one thing. What's your number one desert island release?
Ooh, wow.
That's such a difficult question.
You got to own it too. It's got to be in your home right now.
I have actually. It's not metal. It's not a heavy metal record.
Fair enough.
My go-to record, and the one record I can listen to, I have it on vinyl, I have it on CD, I have it on cassette, is actually Pink Floyd's Animals.
Excellent.
My favorite favorite album, number one. So I can never get tired. So Desert Island, if there's electricity on said desert island where I can play it.
Absolutely. That's always that's the given. Solar powered record players.
Exactly. That's my go-to record.
Excellent.
Kristian is searching his collection.
Yeah, the pressure is on. I really don't know how to answer it actually, because if we were on this island and if I would listen to this album 100 times, I would get bored of it. So I'm trying to think like something I couldn't get bored of, and it's I have an album. It would probably be something really fucking mellow, like either Keith Jarrett, maybe. I love his Vienna concert. Piano player. You guys know?
Yeah.
Keith Jarrett? Yeah. Something like that. Or I have this record called. It's by a choir ensemble called the Hilliard Ensemble. It's like 4 English guys, and they're just singing like old choir works from 1500 century, 15th century, and it's called that album I have is called Officium. I have it on CD somewhere. I couldn't find it right now, otherwise I would have shown it to you. I have to look for it, but that's an awesome album. Always when I feel like down or something's wrong, I could put that on and just like sort of restart myself. It's
okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's always this preconception that, you're a metal band, well, the record's going to be a metal record.
Yeah.
And as a musician, I assume that, you got to have an open mind, or else you might overlook an influence or something, you can draw from. So it's interesting to hear, obviously 2 very different sounding records come from each of you. So that was excellent answers there.
Yeah, really cool.
And if we're going to tie it into the whole horror genre, I have to say that's another go-to record would be Nick Cave's Murder Ballads.
Okay.
That's just I love that record. That's if you want to listen to some terrifying, just really kind of accurate storytelling. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and
yes,
that record, particularly the Murder Ballads, which is basically songs about people getting murdered. That's it.
Fair enough. It's all in the description.
It's just this really dark album. Like when I remember listening to it the first time, and I was just like, I'm absolutely drained. I can't believe I've just listened to this. I feel
Right.
I feel like I've gone mad, and it's just but it's
You had
it's
to take a
phenomenal-
shower.
Yeah, I had to wash the dirt away, you know. It's just, am I all right? Am I sane for even liking this?
Right.
You know.
Let me ask you guys then, what would be your desert island horror movie?
Ooh.
I'll start. It is Troll 2. No shit. My favorite movie, man. It's so terrible. I love it. It's got a special place. That one I have to see every year. Have to see it at least once a year.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I think, well, not to be pandery, because I actually thought about this before the show, but in the Alien world, the second one, Aliens, I absolutely love that. I love that movie.
Yeah, me
I've
too,
watched,
man.
yeah, one of my all-time favorite movies. My God,
Same
we
here.
watched that a
Cinematic
million
master.
times when we were younger. But yeah,
Same
with
here.
the Space Marines are so badass.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Game
Hicks
over,
and
man.
Hudson, yeah.
To my eyes. Right.
Here's the golden question for the two Aliens fans, because I love that film as well. Is it Drake, We Are Leaving, or Marines, We Are Leaving?
It's
Oh,
Drake.
Drake.
It's Drake.
Okay, I'll go with Kristian.
Yeah, I've
I
always
was leaning in that direction too. So yeah, Drake.
I've
I
always
know
heard
it.
Marines.
I know it because
We
I
are
was on-
leaving.
Yeah, I was on the I'm on the Alien fan page on Facebook. One of the
Nice.
guys there, because this question came up a lot. One of the guys on there took it upon himself to ask Michael Biehn, Hicks. He sent a message to him like, you can do that. He has some thing, you can contact him. So he did that, and then Hicks, Michael Biehn, answered. He was like, yeah, thank you very much for being a fan, seemed like a totally super nice guy, and this question, I can't remember myself. So I gave a call to Mark Rolston, who played Drake. And he said, like, I'm really sure, I'm 100% positive that is Drake we're leaving. So there we have it.
Excellent. Settled.
Yep.
Yeah, settled.
I actually met Drake and Vasquez. I was at Chiller and maybe 2010, 2012 in New Jersey, as I was there to meet the suit actors who were in the Godzilla films, Haruo Nakajima, Ken Satsuma, and Tom Kitagawa. And so that we were there Saturday night, the Smithereens were playing for free concert. I'm like, well, fuck, I'm going to see the Smithereens. So I'm sitting there, and then my friend who was with me, he's like, hey, the dudes from Aliens are behind us. I'm like, really? I turn around and there's Drake and there's Vasquez. I'm like, oh,
Awesome.
God. And Drake's like, Smithereens, man. I'm like, yes, yeah, yeah. So
Awesome.
I didn't have the courage to say, can I get a picture? I mean, during the middle of the concert, and I thought, I'll wait till it's over. But when it was over, they were gone. I'm like, oh, just missed them.
Oh,
There's my moment of almost greatness.
Hey, Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man?
I know.
Should have asked.
Yeah, I wanted her to smack.
No, have you?
Yeah, I wanted her. I wanted her
Oh,
to give
man.
me a smack across the face.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you say,
Sorry.
Chop? What do you say, Chop Top? What's your favorite or your desert island film?
My horror movie?
Yeah.
I had to think about this for a minute because my scariest film of all time to me is The Exorcist. Still terrifies me to the day. But Desert Island,
Which one?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
The Exorcist. He had said The Exorcist. Yeah.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, the thing is brilliant.
Yeah.
Still, those effects, the practicality, everything still
Mhm.
stands the test of time. And Carpenter's score in that is
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, Ennio Morricone, brilliant score.
Oh yeah,
And the lighting in that film is really good.
Yeah.
When they were
Right.
strapped to the bench doing all the tests with the blood,
Mhm.
and that guy transforms. My God, that was panic, absolute panic.
Glorious.
And the head comes off and crawls away. You fucking
Yes.
kidding me?
the spider head.
Yeah.
All
But-
those, like Alien and The Shining was mentioned, and The Thing, like being trapped and isolated with the
Yeah.
monster is just there's a level of tension there
Yeah.
that is
Right.
horrific.
that's also this human concept as well, where the humans transcend their kind of inner beasts, because now they're pointing fingers at each other. It's like, well, you're the monster.
Yes.
Right.
Monster.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And mine is Dawn of the Dead. The original. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. I saw that when I was like 16, and immediately came home and started writing the sequel. Feast of the Dead. Like, yes, I'm gonna write a zombie book, yeah, that one hits all my buttons, and I loved the slow moving zombies. I just thought that's great, way better than the fast moving zombies, for me anyway. And I just kind of really enjoyed it. But again, we're stuck. You got this closed in, even though it's a shopping mall, you're still closed in, and then still the party turns on themselves. Yeah, I just think it's a brilliantly made movie and has some of the best gore.
The helicopter zombie.
Yes,
it's one of my favorites.
Just Frankenstein head.
Yes.
yeah, it comes off great. Right, and it has like some of the best gore effects that Tom Savini's ever done. I mean, it's like the litmus test for gore. When you have someone's body being disemboweled, people go to Dawn of the Dead. Like, that's the way to do it.
I remember you, Montag, when we were young. You had all like the Fangoria magazines, and you would show me all the behind the scenes and how this effect was made, how this was done, and scanners, how the guy's head got exploded, in scanners. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to do at the time. I was going to be a makeup artist, because I had done that for a couple of the plays in our high school. They were doing Death Trap, and they wanted, there's a garroting scene at the beginning or at the end of the first act, and so I made this garrote and filled it with blood. And so when they pulled it over the actor's neck, blood squirted out, and I was waiting for the audience. So I'm like waiting in the wings. Then I hear this screaming. I'm like, because they weren't expecting this in a high school production, and so I really loved doing the latex and stuff like that. But then when I got into it, I realized I can't draw for shit, so I couldn't sculpt. I'm like, I can't do any of this. As much as I wanted to, I was limited. I can't draw, so that kind of nipped that in the bud.
Drawing, yeah. That's great. The practical effects at a high school play, like that's
yeah, because my original idea was having a bladder, like putting a latex prosthetic filled with blood and like drawing, actually cutting the throat. And the teacher's like, no, we are not cutting that. So that was the compromise. But I'd wound some tubing through the garrote and painted it all black, and then filled it with syringes and had cut slits in the tubing. So when you pulled it, it just opened up and just sprayed out. Yeah, that was good.
That's brilliant.
Good stuff.
Oh,
I'd have to say that my Desert Island movie, in terms of horror movie, it's also a zombie movie, believe it or not. It would have to be 28 Days Later.
Oh, that is a great movie. Yeah.
That is the most, even though that Dawn of the Dead is an iconic film, I love Night of the Living Dead. I think that 28 Days Later is actually the most realistic of the zombie movies, where you have a medically engineered virus that's released. Maybe there's probably conspiracy theorists today in this day and age right now thinking about this current situation. But I mean, it was the most plausible, realistic, and it's just absolutely terrifying. Like, I remember I had it full blast, and when he goes to check the door on the car in the very beginning of the film, and the car alarm goes off, that scared the shit out of me. Like, literally jumped off the couch and was just like, whoa, that frightened me. And then the scene where he goes to the church, and they're all kind of like lumped over like this, but then he says, Father, and then they're kind of like looking up at him, and you see the bishop come in, he's all messed up. It's just, it's brilliant.
And they were the fast zombies too, the really fast zombies. Yeah. That added a whole element of panic,
Yeah, I don't like calling them necessarily zombies, because they're technically not dead. They're just transformed into this disfigured
Dread virus.
Like World War Z, in a way. There's that
virus.
Oh, what a disappointment that film was. Oh, I was like, no.
Well, I hadn't read the book, so I'm like the movie, but I'm sure once I read the book, I'll be like, oh, because I know they couldn't do all of these things in one movie, but
they do end up in Canada at the end.
So There you go.
I guess
Get that.
The world's refuge, Canada. Everybody has to flee to Canada.
The nicest
Yeah.
country, right? Yeah.
you're all welcome here, eh?
The Great White North. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking about zombie movies, have you guys seen Blood Red Skies?
No,
That's right, guys. Oh,
I've
I
not.
think it's on one of the streaming services. I think it's check it out. Blood Red Skies.
Okay.
It's like it was made, I think, like during the pandemic or something. It was all kinds of adverse conditions, but it's a really cool movie. It's I'm not going to say anything. Just check it out. See what you think.
okay, excellent.
Actually, I
There we
think
go,
I
yeah.
did see that, Christian. I think I did see that, and it's a nice vampire movie. So
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it's more that maybe vampire than zombie, but it's like living dead things.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I dug it.
And we
And
can thank. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to say, I'm guessing, Kristian, your desert island movie, it has to be Aliens. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's Alien or Aliens. It's like they fluctuate. The first position. It's like Dreadbull said. I watched Aliens from the first. When it came out in '86. Like once a week at least.
Yeah.
Back then.
Oh, good.
But Alien is more horror. Aliens is more action.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But otherwise, I mean, again, The Shining. You can't overlook that one. The Thing, which you mentioned. It's masterpiece. And also Omen, I think, is also fantastic.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
Number one.
Damien. Yes.
Yeah. It's really scary, It's
Yeah.
It's all for you.
mindfuck.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I go with Alien, but some bunch of others are lurking there close to the first spot as well.
Sweet.
Yes.
But it's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved, that's why this Halloween is so much fun. I started doing the horror movies every day, usually like celebrating the whole month for us anyway, usually, because I'm not a big fan of Christmas. I don't care. But Halloween and horror, it's like the time where everyone's kind of watching it. It's on TV, it's on everywhere, so it's easy to access, but yeah, it seems like we've all been influenced by the same kinds of movies. And I'm right there with you. Alien is a haunted house in space, and Aliens is a roller coaster ride. It's just a very different experience. And that they're just so much entertainment. The horror sci-fi blending, like with The Thing and Event Horizon, those are all just super films. So that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember actually one film that we didn't actually talk about this is also a serial killer film, but The Cell. Do you guys remember that one?
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
I've not seen it.
That's a really good film, and what a great premise to go into the mind of a serial
Yeah,
killer.
right.
So,
That's what made it good, was going into the mind. It was real abstract and bizarre.
Yeah.
Not so scary, but like really uncomfortable. When the glass thing comes down and segments the horse, like,
yeah,
what a great scene, man. Like, you can't forget shit like that. So
no, what a great, just an absolute underrated gem, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely,
the suspense thriller.
Yep.
Have you seen Portrait of a Serial Killer?
No, I haven't.
It came out like late 80s, early 90s, with what's the actor's name? He's the blue guy in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in Walking Dead.
Merle.
Oh,
Merle.
oh
Merle.
yeah, Merle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just Merle.
Merle.
Right.
Mary Poppins. That's
And,
right.
Yeah, that's a really, it's horrific in the way that it's basically, I think it's based loosely on the life of Henry Lee Lucas, a serial killer. So it is terrifying in that regard, because it's so almost like a documentary style, in that detachment makes it even more terrifying when you watch it, because it's so matter of fact,
Right.
It's like a discomfort, like watching A Clockwork Orange makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, okay, I'm not going to be clean for a while, it's really an effective movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the one that you're talking about, actually. He's very young in that film.
Yes.
And that's also a thing. Like we have a director over here. We're talking about earlier, like the European horror movie. The burst from Scandinavia, and actually one of the most kind of talked about, just weirdest directors we have is Lars Von Troyer. And that film Antichrist, I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I know of it. It's on my list. Yeah,
that is it's not a horror movie, but goddamn, there's some pretty just insane scenes in that movie where I won't give it away because you haven't seen it, but there's one scene in particular where I literally shot up off the couch in dismay and just totally disgusted. And I was just like, this isn't real. Like, no way. No way they just did that.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I've heard of that too.
Note to self.
Gotta watch it now.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it now.
And the
bring
sad
out the
thing is,
seatbelts.
exactly. That's one of those films as well. It's like, it's so grotesque and it's so strange and bizarre. It's like you watch it and you can't recommend it. It's like, if I recommend this, if somebody goes and watch it and they're like, hey man, what the hell?
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Why'd you do that? I can't sleep. I'm seeing things.
Oh wow.
I jumped off my couch.
Wow.
That's
fantastic.
Okay.
It's just a really dark, and it's very depressing. But like I said, there's some absolutely grotesque scenes in that film.
Right up my alley.
So,
Yeah.
give it a gander. Watch it and beware.
All right. That's even better.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember last time I jumped out of my seat. Maybe like Exorcist 3, I think.
Yeah,
have you seen it? The Exorcist 3?
Oh, where the
yes, the hallway scene. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I remember sitting back in my chair in the theater, like, what? Trying to escape from what was going on. Like that. That was really, truly terrifying.
Last time I jumped out of my seat was the hallway scene in Resident Evil when the dogs jump through the windows. Every time, still today. For gamers, man, that scene, that for a video game at the time, that was still gets me to this day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know it. I know it's coming.
I got hot coffee spilled on me because of that on that scene. My wife was sitting right behind me with a cup of coffee and spilled it right down my back when that happened. She was watching me play. Yeah,
that's even more intense, man. It was already frightening. Now,
right?
Now
yeah, now I'm burned.
That's true. Yeah.
Now you've got the feeling.
Happened. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, right.
I
can feel the hot breath on my back.
I was playing that at a friend's house. Everyone was sleeping. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm playing that. And it was a scene in the room with the mirror, and then you go in there, and it's okay. Then you come back in, and then the liquor jumps through.
Yeah.
I remember holding my mouth because I didn't want to scream and wake everyone up, and my chest is just the adrenaline is just crackling. I thought I'm gonna fucking die. My friends are gonna find me in the morning because I'm dying because I won't scream for help. Yeah, that's that game, man. Oh boy, it was
the same thing with the Doom remake when they came out on the original Xbox, and that the scoring in that as well. Like when you had the headphones on, you hear like, God help me.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, and you're going through it like, and I remember at the one point you're backing up. You're meant to back up because you're waiting for something to jump out at you, so you naturally are backing up, and then the fucking door opens behind you, and you hear just this, and as soon as you turn around,
yeah,
you bastard.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. Interactive horror, video games. Like they do a real good job. Silent Hill was creepy as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Classic.
That series, man. I played it with my friend because he was really good at remembering the maps. Like he's good at but he had no finger coordination. So I'm like playing,
right.
But I couldn't remember shit because I'm like in the moment, like, where's the guy? Where's the dead? And he's remembering, okay, make a left here, turn right here. And I'm doing all that. But man, that game just fucks with your senses. It just one by one, your senses go away. And it is just utterly disturbing. And that's what I think found so effective in games like that is when it can take away your sense of reality for a little bit and fuck with you. That's a truly beautifully designed game. Visceral terror, you feel that.
I quit playing them. I couldn't handle it anymore.
I
haven't played one of those in ages. Yeah.
Not recommended.
No, after a certain age, you stop doing that.
Right.
Don't want to pee your couch.
No.
That's excellent. Any last questions for these guys before we let them take off?
Should probably let him go, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's coming up on 2 hours.
I know. This has been such a great time. We thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We hope you had an entertaining time with us.
Absolutely. Loved it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I love talking about horror movies. So
That's great. Well, when your next album comes out, your next project, please let us know. You're welcome back anytime that you want to come on, just to hang out. Seriously, we're not stalkers, but we'd love to have you back on. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Great, guys.
Thank you.
And hopefully the world will get to the point where we can see you guys come to the States. And if you come play Cleveland, we definitely want to come see you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be killer.
That would be a dream for us. That would be so cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com, listen to full episodes, or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our brand new YouTube page, if you're watching, you're at it, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You know someone who'd like our show? Tell them about us. And don't forget to follow Sorcerer on Facebook. Yes, and on Instagram. We're going to do our outro, and please join us and join in with us when we do our heavy metal horror. Bring the horns. You're welcome to come in. Oh, wait. Before we go, would it be too much to ask you to do a little bumper for us?
No problem.
Just say who hey, I'll let you guys take over for that.
Hey, everybody. This is Justin from Sorcerer.
And Kristian.
And you guys are listening to and watching
Heavy Metal Horror.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Wonderful.
Killer.
All right. This is Montag, Master of Illusion.
And Chop Top.
Dreadbull.
And Vic.
All right, guys. And you've been listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.